How historic is it that the President of the United States was right here?
Very historic. I don't remember any president coming to a picket line, but Joe, before he was president, was coming to picket lines. He's consistent. We have a lot of consistent folk at pointing out problems. He fixes them. I was very pleased to see him coming down the road.
Hi, and welcome back to The Soup. I'm your host, Brian Karem, and longtime White House correspondent. And today, history was made. The President of the United States, for the first time in American history, walked the picket lines with the United Auto Workers on strike in Detroit and elsewhere across the country. He flew to Michigan to do it, invited there by organized labor a day before Donald Trump will show up and gripe, bitch, and moan that he's really the one. You even have reporters now saying he's for the worker. Don't buy it, not for a chance, not for a minute.
I find a pathetic irony that the former president is going to hold a rally for union members at a non-union business. And, you know, all you have to do is look at his track record. His track record speaks for itself. In 2008, during the Great Recession, he blamed UAW members. He blamed our contracts for everything that was wrong with these companies. That's a complete lie. In 2015, when he was running for president, he talked about doing a rotation, taking all these good paying jobs in the Midwest and moving them somewhere in the South where people work for less money, and then to make people beg for their jobs back at lower wages. And the ultimate show of his how much he cares about our workers was in 2019 when he was the president of the United States. Where was he then? Our workers at GM were on strike for 60 days, for 2 months. They were out there on the picket lines. I didn't see him hold a rally. I didn't see him stand up at the picket line, and I sure as hell didn't hear him comment about it.
So here's the question.
He was missing in action.
Here's the question to President. What about the meeting with Trump? Would you meet with him when he's in Detroit tomorrow?
I see no point in meeting with him because I don't think the man has any bit of care about what our workers stand for, what the working class stands for. He serves a billionaire class, and that's what's wrong with this country.
Anyway, and also today in history, well, the United Auto Workers are still on strike, but the Writers Guild of America settled its strike. And at the same time, the administration announced today that it is pursuing a lawsuit against Amazon for its monopoly and is going and setting higher prices because of how it sells things in the marketplace. So huge news for organized labor. In fact, it's a resurgence of organized labor we haven't seen in this country in 40 years since Ronald Reagan crushed laborers and labor unions by going after the PATCO. So we won't even go into all that. But nonetheless, that's the news today. Now, on the other side of the coin, Donald Trump. Donald Trump today, it was announced by a judge in a different case that Donald Trump is guilty of deceptive practices and fraud in trying to build his empire. Now, that's not a criminal offense, and so it's in a different court of law. It doesn't mean that he'll be punished for anything, but he was also punished civilly. He was also told that he was a rapist. Donald Trump, now in two courts, a rapist and defrauding people in order to create his vast empire. And people are going to love Donald Trump no matter what. You can't speak to that. But what you can look is at the polls. There's even an outlying poll that shows Donald Trump is 10 points ahead of Joe Biden. Don't believe the mindless trolls and mutants. If the Biden administration can effectively communicate what it has done and what it is doing, then it bodes well. That's a big if. But don't forget, today was a moment in history. Never forget it. You have never seen a president of the United States march with striking workers before, preferring to stay out of the fray while siding with labor, usually, and asking both sides to come to an amicable agreement. Not the case today.
Heard me say it many times. Wall Street didn't build the country. The middle class built the country. Unions built the middle class. That's a fact. So let's keep going. You deserve what you've earned, and you've earned a hell of a lot more than you're getting paid now. Thank you very much.
You stood next to President Biden today as he became the first sitting U.S. president in history to join a picket line. What was it like for seeing him there wearing a UAW hat?
Hey, thank you, Wolf. It was a great day for our members. Today was about our membership, and their fight and people understanding that fight. And so, it was a historic day. I mean, the fact that a sitting U.S. president visited a picket line for the first time in our nation's history, I mean, that cannot be minimized. It can't go unnoticed. It's a very important time in our history, and this is a very important fight we're in. I mean, this is a fight for the future of the working class.
Do you think that this is a big moment for labor overall?
I believe so, yes.
And what would your message be to President Biden?
Thank you for taking this in consideration and taking a look at this matter to help keep our economy moving forward and building stronger.
And what does it mean that the president came here to stand with you on the picket line?
I mean, it means a lot. I mean, I think it's going to bring a lot of attention to our cause. It's going to get attention of the CEOs that he's here, he's with us, he's standing with us.
You heard that the president is coming to town today. Yes. Your reaction to that?
I think it's great that he's coming today. I think that he would bring a lot of publicity and a lot of focus on the facilities for Stellantis, for Ford, for GM, to help us get to a contract that we deserve.
The president of the United States took a very nuanced stance against the monopolies by not only standing with the workers, but filing suit against Amazon. Those two actions today are the history that you need to remember going forward. Donald Trump will soon be a footnote in history, known as a rapist, a defrauder, and after he is prosecuted, probably he's going to be known as the world's greatest felon. Yeah, he deserves it. Anyway, the name of the podcast is Just Ask the Question. The name of the book is Free the Press now, and it's third printing. Love you to buy it wherever fine books are sold, the podcast, wherever fine podcasts are sold. You can also catch me on salon.com every Thursday with a column. So anyway, thanks. I'm Brian Karem. I'll catch you next time.
Hey, Meidas Mighty. Love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.